Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha. And I'd like to share with you today a sentiment of metta, loving kindness, to begin our practice. This one reads, "May you remember your strength. May you remember your strength." On Wednesdays, we read books written by Zen masters. This is a practice that our wonderful Sangha member Christopher brought to the Spokane Sangha a number of years ago. We read Zen Mind, Beginner Mind. We read Standing at the Edge. And we're now reading a book by Rashane Ray of the sayings by Thich Nhat Hanh, Vietnamese Zen master, who single-handedly, in my opinion, brought the realities of mindfulness to Western consciousness. Before we begin, I want to plant an image in your mind. And I want to plant it gently and reverently, and I want to water this image, water this seed, if you will, of playfulness, with playfulness and creativity. The seed or the image that I'd like to plant in your mind is a straight line with arrows on either end. And so this is an infinite symbol. It goes on either way, in one direction or the other. And in many ways, this is a dualistic depiction, because on one side you have an extreme spreading out in a singular direction, and on the other side you have the other extreme spreading out in the other direction. And we sometimes, in a dualistic mind, forget how much is going on in the middle. And this is the historical mind duality, paradox, pairs of opposites, defining most of the Western legacy, the Judeo-Christian legacy specifically. Good versus evil, right or wrong, this or that, positive or negative. That dualistic mindset is not the governing mindset in Eastern philosophy or traditions. These ancient practices include that dualism, what's going on and expanding on either end, as well as everything that's happening in the middle. So you've got duality, pairs of opposites on either side, spreading and expanding in opposing directions. And then you've got the non-dual state of everything in between, where one extreme bleeds into the other extreme and they sort of coalesce. In Buddhism focuses on that middle ground, the middle way. The history and the tradition of recovery is highly dualistic. Our social narrative is one that says you are either using substances, misusing substances, or you are abstaining from all substances. And there is nothing in between. You are either this or you are that. And for some people, that is true. And it is not the whole truth for everybody. So the Buddhist practice invites us to look gently and honestly at ourselves. Where do we fit on this line? Maybe we're not even fitting on a line. Maybe our journey of recovery is more of a squiggle or a swirl or an up and down. And we go from using to various experiences with abstaining and looking at our relationship to not using. The nature of reality is going from being in serious substance use and misuse to abstaining altogether, no touchy-touchy, is a very, very difficult, fragile path. The invitation is to not make excuses, to stay diligent, to stay awake, but to be gentle. We can walk confidently, firmly, but we can plant our feet gently with every single step we take so that we don't cause or we reduce harm to what's ever happening underneath our feet. We can look at ourselves in the mirror and identify all of the things about our actions that have been unskillful, unnoble, immature, regrettable. We can own all of it, see it. And when we do so, however, with gentleness and friendly compassion, what comes forward are all of the clues on how to heal and mature our unwise, unskillful, unnoble ways of being. So as you navigate your middle way between your relationship to habit energy and your relationship to healing habit energy and experiencing the freedom of it, as you navigate that beautiful, vast middle way, I'd like to bring forward Thich Nhat Hanh's voice of encouragement. For those of you who have this book at home and you want to know the page, I am reading from page 75, I think. Let me get my glasses on. Nope, 76. And the encouragement that Thich Nhat Hanh gives us is the title of this book, Friends, Go Slowly, Breathe, and Smile. He writes, when the Buddha was born, it is said that he took 7 steps and a flower appeared under each step. When you practice walking meditation, you can do the same. Visualize a tulip, a gardenia, or a lotus flower blooming under each step as your foot touches the ground. And you will see fields of flowers wherever you walk. As we settle into the silence of this meditation, I simply want to bring forward another bit of encouragement. And this is intentionally pushing against social stigma and the social narrative, which is incessantly trying to suggest that if we're gentle toward ourselves and lenient toward ourselves on the journey of recovery, that we will just make excuses for ourselves to use. And that might actually be true. And it is not the whole truth. Because if we deny ourselves gentleness, then what's left is hardness and harshness, whipping ourselves into shape, forcing ourselves to conform and stay in line. These things are also good. That is true and not the whole truth. Because sometimes it's too harsh. Sometimes we need a softer place to land. So the encouragement of bringing forward gentleness is not to displace or disregard any time that we're trying to stay disciplined and ambitious and seeking some level of achievement. It's simply finding the harmony of the two, rather than exercising one or the other. See yourself in the middle and notice what's around you with the spirit of equanimity. See the good and the bad, the light and the shadow, the noble and the immature, the intelligence and the ignorance, the denial and the acceptance. It's all there. See how it comes alive in you, and come home to being whole. friends. As you begin to return to this space where we can open up our practice for community sharing, I want to end our meditation today by embodying this image. And so if you feel called to do this with me, you're welcome to. If you just want to watch, you can do that as well. But I would encourage you, if you feel like you want to practice with me, go ahead and close your eyes. I'll guide you through it so you don't have to feel embarrassed about anybody watching you if that's something that's a sensitivity. But all I'm going to ask you to do is spread your arms out wide, like in the shape of a T. So you're highly vulnerable in this position, heart fully exposed. And just notice that on the right hand, palm up, there's all of my positive qualities heading in that direction. And in my left hand, palm, maybe I'll flip it over for funsies, palm in this direction, headed down. These are all my negative qualities, if you will. So I've embodied as I bend my elbows and then extend my arms out again. That's where duality is, pairs of opposites. And look what's in the middle of this. Me, the core of my body, my heart, my good nature, my Buddha nature. And so what I can do now is circle my arms in front of me and scoop all of these qualities together, the light and the dark, bringing it together in a little ball, maybe around my hands. And maybe I'll bring my hands together in prayer pose at the level of my heart. When I go slowly, when I breathe, when I smile, I remember that the true nature of me is a wonderful combination of so many different things. I am the universe, the constellations of the stars, as are you, highly complex. And I'm going to journey this linearly and non-linearly. I'm going to be skillful and not. But what I'm not going to do is give up. I'm going to keep going and keep practicing. Go slowly, breathe, and smile. See what happens. So this is how wisdom works in me and comes through me, and so it is true. What's also true, and the deeper truth, is that I have been a practitioner for a long time, and it is a devotion. And it is such a privilege to be able to share it with you and to bring you into awareness of the ways that I find refuge in movement, in creativity, in community. These are the wonderful ways to create connections to one another and to nature. All of this to remind us then that we are so much more than our flaws. We are so much more than the things that make us fantastic. We are the combinations and then some. That's the mystery of being. Brian Cox, my favorite cosmologist, likes to remind us that We are the evolutionary magic of dying stars with consciousness able to contemplate itself. And I think that's an extraordinary thing. And one of the things that we can do as we're contemplating ourselves is we can contemplate our habit energy as human beings in new, gentle ways. And instead of continuing and perpetuating ripples of harshness and harm, waves of judgment and discursive thinking, we can blow gentle breezes of kindness. We can offer refreshment and replenishment of love and compassion. We can extend the solidity of kindness and freedom. These are radical acts that require extraordinary courage and strength. Thank goodness we have a place to practice. Thank you for making this place what it is. We'll see you next time. Namaste.